Okay, this is the first test of the game test. I call it the free throw test. When we talk about shoulders, there's some muscle group in there called rotator cuff, okay? Because the shoulder rotates, it does not lift. Lifting is a bad move. That's from our upper trap. We want to keep that out of this movement. So this free throw test movement is we're going to keep our arms at our side, okay? And I'll show a side view. We're going to rotate my arm, keeping the angle of my wrist and elbow as far as it can go, as far as my elbow can go, and then my hand, and then I'm repeating. What I'm looking for is to be able to stay in line, okay? You may notice when this young lady does it, it might not look like mine. Are you right-handed or left-handed? Right-handed. So let's do your left hand first. So we're going to put our left hand at our side. Okay, up nice. We're going to sit up nice and tall. And I just want you, I'm not going to give you any cues. I just want you to duplicate what I just did. Okay, good. Back down. Now you can see that was a little difficult for her. She had a lot of upper trap involvement. I'm going to have her do that one more time. Especially when she got to right there, which would kind of be the athletic position, especially for people who are doing overhand athletic work, which is most. Okay, so now let's see right hand. Okay, good. One more time. Okay. So now I'm going to move your shoulder. So keep your hand here. Okay. Now when I move her shoulder and I rotate her shoulder, I've got a bunch of more movement than she got. Because what's happening is she's getting this upper trap involved and she's getting a shrug more than a rotation as the ball of my shoulder rotates all the way back and then up. She essentially did not pass this test and would have a very difficult time being an overhand throwing athlete and not having some performance issues and possible injury issues. Okay, so that is the free throw test. Okay, so the next test in this series, I've yet to ever come up with a name. So the name of this is the no-name shoulder test. Okay, and essentially what the person's going to do is they're going to get in that supination position, up nice and tall, and they're going to move their shoulders in the motion, essentially of a snow angel or a jumping jack. Very slowly, very controlled, as I'm looking for a few things. Young lady, do you mind? So as she moves, I'm gonna move your cough out of the way here for a second. I'm sorry, just so we can kind of see our shoulders. And whenever you're ready. Okay, so as you can see, one more time. So initially when she lifts up, our big brother gets in the way. Okay, scapular humeral rhythm is that my shoulder blade drops down and stays down. Hers, as she lifts up, starts to lift up, okay, right about at 90 degrees, and stays there as she comes through, inhibiting her motion to get all the way up. And then because the shoulder is essentially not working properly, on her way down in the deceleration phase, as you go down, you're going to see some more shrugging and even some wiggling here of our shoulder blade. When we talk about shoulders, okay, movement, most of sports is decelerating. You can sit down, honey. Is decelerating. Very often I do not get hurt jumping up unless I blow an Achilles. It's on the way down. Everything we talk about, especially overhand throwing, is deceleration. The body wants to slow our arm down. When we get this trap involved, nothing good can come from that. So this, as you can see, is probably not the best score, but a work in progress.
1.
Okay, now we have the squat test. The squat is the most important movement for any sport. Okay, you've seen the shoulder test. Scapular depression is 1A. This is 1. Okay, this movement has to be mastered to be an athlete, to stay safe, to increase your performance, okay? So we're going to have this young lady do our squat, and then I'm going to have her do a couple, and then I'm going to correct it so you see a correct one. She is a catcher, by the way. As she comes back up, I'm going to have her come back down again. I want you to look at her, part of her lower back, what happens there. So right as she gets there, it starts to round. So immediately she's lost her lordosis. That's like taking the second and third floors of a tall building and pulling them out. Okay, she's losing stability there. It's okay. So I'm gonna have you sit down. So I'll kind of demonstrate as an old guy with really, really bad knees how to do this movement. It has to start with our center moving backwards and my torso over the top as a hinge. You'll see that my knees are bending, but they're bending as a result of this movement, not this movement, okay? So with a knee that needs to be replaced on the right side, so everyone says I can't do squats, I've got bad knees. Well, you've got bad knees because we're doing this. So I'm going to move as a hinge, and I'm going to fold all the way down as far as my knee will allow range of motion. And here I am. Curve of my back, chin up, shoulder blades down, weight on the arches of my feet, feeling this right here, and I'm up. That's a squat. That's a squat test. Has to be mastered. So our next test is called the lunge. Not called lunge, it's been called lunge for a long time. It's a lunge test, okay? The important thing with a lunge, again, we never want that knee going over our toe. And a lunge, believe it or not, is a back leg exercise, not a front leg. So let's see your lunge. That's pretty good. Now, do it one more time. Good. This is a passive mark. Great posture here. Posture here, shoulder blades down, 90 degrees. Good way to be able to come up and back straight with her back leg. She's on one leg. Great job. Let me see the other leg. Yet, she failed the squat test. And we're going to go into reasons why in another lesson of why that is. Let's see the other leg. So on one leg, she's better than she is on two legs. Doesn't make scientific sense. It will in another lesson. One more time. Nice, you passed the test. Good job. Okay, this test is called a single leg deadlift. People may also call it a golfer's lift. Incredibly difficult to hinge the body, hamstring flexibility, balance of the foot, balance of the core, everything in this movement, okay? So let's see what we have. Okay, one more time, a little slower. Let's move our back leg back as we do this first. Let our back leg make you do this. Good, and that's much better. Now, I'm going to have her turn her back to you, and you're going to see something a little bit different. Okay? Okay. One more time. And you're going to see her, go ahead, hold your balance this time. It's okay. Okay, she's got a lot of rotation of her spine. Okay? What that's doing, it's locking the spine and giving her balance. Very high level exercise that she did. She did quite well. Very good. But she's got some core and some glute weakness that we already saw in the squat test, and now comes and parlays into this test. Awesome. Okay, so our last test in this is kind of some coordination, more of a sport type movement. We're looking for some balance and some coordination. I call it walking cranes in martial arts or the Karate Kid. You have seen this movement, which is a crane, which is the precursor of all kicks. These are walking cranes. Madame, the floor is yours. So we're looking for, foot stability, the ability to do this, up nice and tall, up posture. These look pretty darn well. So here's someone who may pass this test on the field, and everyone says, oh, she's good, but she has, what has happened here is her body has adapted to failures in the squat test, the single leg deadlift, but her body has compensated, and she appears that she's doing this quite well and passes this test. But as we dig further, her glute, hamstring, groin, and core, there are some issues that have to be addressed.